Cat and Derek's Tales of the Supernormal. Explore the Supernormal. The fun of the Supernormal.
Yeah.
How are you today on this Halloween Monday?
Right?
5 days away from Halloween.
Yeah. I'm well. I did not have a very good weekend.
Yes, you did. We had a fun day on Saturday.
Well, you and I may have. I was very upset with my family, however.
Why?
Because my husband was complaining the whole way, like before, and the whole way there. And not the whole way there, but like because he was complaining, my kids felt it was okay to complain, and that makes me upset. That's what really makes me upset, honestly. So, and then we were supposed to go to the pumpkin patch that we paid for and had tickets for and everything, and it rained, and it was a mud puddle essentially. So they closed the pumpkin patch.
Oh, that sucks.
So we went to Safeway and bought pumpkins, but I did have fun painting and carving the pumpkins with my kids and husband and stuff. That was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I had a blast on Saturday.
I did too.
I mean, I got some really good artsy-fartsy photos.
You did. And then, like, I saw that Christina posted some pictures too that you guys hadn't sent me, and those were good too. Like, they were all awesome. I loved them.
And then I got really artsy-fartsy with Ellie and Izzy.
You did. I saw
walking on the train tracks.
That was so cute. Oh my gosh, they're so cute.
I grabbed him and I said, "Hey, come here for a second. Just hold each other's hands and just start walking." And they're like, and Ellie looks at me and goes, "This is weird. You're weird."
Did she really?
Yes.
Oh.
And I said, "No, you're weird." And she goes, "I know."
Good. I tried to teach her to embrace her weirdness. It's okay.
It was, and obviously Izzy does, but oh my God. It was just funny. I just told them to walk, and they're like, "Okay, where are we going?" I'm like, "No, just walk." But what's really funny is, and we'll get to the horror and the Halloween stuff here in a second, but so when you guys left to go get the car, I was looking out on the river, and I noticed that there was a path of rocks and boulders leading out to the middle of the river.
Right.
So my dumbass decided, hey, I can get some really good pictures if I go out there.
Yeah.
So that's exactly, what is my camera doing? This is pissing me off of
I think your internet connection might be a little bit slow.
I don't know if it's my internet connection or my camera, but either way. So I decided to walk out to the center of the fucking river and just try to get the best fucking pictures I could. And it was great. I mean, that's where I got the rippling tide water, just pure water. Yeah. I stuck my phone down on top of the rock and kind of inside the water a little bit halfway. And oh yeah, just did some shit. Yeah.
Did you fall?
No.
Oh, well, good. All right.
No, it worked out well.
Cool. Good.
So, anyway,
announcement this morning.
Huh?
Did you see my announcement on Instagram this morning?
No, I missed that. Please go ahead.
I'm having to pivot because I can't continue to make podcast episodes well anymore. So that don't require immense amount of editing because I was interrupted. Like the last time I told you time I tried to record, it was a nightmare. And my husband is traveling again for work. And, when I started my podcast, I was able to because my kids were in school.
Yeah.
And they're not anymore. So I have to be here and present to help them at any given moment. And even when I try to plan for like when my husband's going to be here, sometimes he just can't be. So I'm blogging and writing a lot over the next few weeks. So if you still want to follow me and The Teachable Soul, and if you guys want to submit like a story to me, I would love that.
So wait a minute. So you're not going to be doing the podcast at all?
No, it's not that I'm not going to be doing it at all. It's just I was able to keep up a pace of, and I prefer to keep up a pace of at least posting an episode a week, but I can't do that anymore. And so it's just going to be pretty much fucking sporadic when it's going to be. I'm posting one episode, I hope, by next Monday. But that'll be the first episode I've posted in probably 2 months, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to post again. So I'll still be posting teachable moments and things like that on the blog. I just won't be able to do audio because to record requires complete silence essentially around me and no interruptions. And then to edit also requires complete silence and no interruptions. Well, to edit well requires silence and no interruptions, which I don't have the luxury of having right now. So,
all right, can I play devil's advocate for a second?
Of course, always.
You know, there's parents that are going to work every day and allowing their kids to figure it out on their own and relying on their teacher to handle it. Why aren't you doing the same?
I'm not worried about my daughter. Oh, shit.
Just broke your blinds.
Yep.
Anyway, go on.
I'm not worried about my daughter not figuring it out or my son not figuring it out. They would be fine. It's they get to go to a physical location to work, a lot of them, or at a bare minimum, if they're in their house, they're like, I am working for the next 8 hours. Do not talk to me. Do not touch me. Do not come near me. That's amazing. That is awesome.
Oh my God. For y'all watching this right now.
Oh damn, I don't have a background.
This is my bottle of oh shit, floating bottle of Mountain Dew.
Right? That's awesome. Put it in the ghost face.
Hold on. We gotta find one. There we go.
It's wearing a Mountain Dew hat.
I started using the green screen just Friday again. And I haven't drank a bottle of Mountain Dew. I've been drinking, cans, but cans are silver. So I haven't had that issue. I was like, that's pretty fucking funny.
That's cool. So in any event, I can't because when I record, it's usually an hour and a half, and I can schedule it and everything and even tell them, hey, don't bother me. But it doesn't always work out that way because, like, for instance, last time that I scheduled it, it was during a time when Elizabeth was not even in school, but her friend had come over and is not allowed to come in the house because of the way that their parents are social distancing, but which would be fine. But she was trying to play Roblox on the computer. Her friend was trying to play Roblox outside on a different device or whatever. And I don't know why, but they kept calling me. And the third time I finally just ignored them. But the sound of them calling me is still now something I have to figure out a way to edit out. And that's not I can't control her friends if she wasn't here before I got to start recording. You know what I mean?
I guess.
So,
but I mean,
it's just easier this way. It's better anyway.
I know, but still, it's
Plus,
your show. It's your career.
I know, but I have books that I want to write too. And I've already gotten one. I don't know if it's halfway done, but it's definitely at the part in the book where it's like the climax is coming down. So giggity
climax.
So I don't know if it's halfway done, but I've been working on it for just a couple days. And I'm already super far through it and I'm loving it. And I love that this is a story that I've had in my head for a very long time. And so I love that I'm finally able to pull it together and spit it out, basically. But I'll come back. Don't worry. I'm not going to.
You said climax and spit it out all in the same sentence. That's fantastic.
I know, right?
Giggity.
So, ghosts. Stories.
Ghosts.
Oh, speaking of ghosts and ghost stories, I wanted to go through. Do you remember any of the ghost stories that you heard as a kid?
Yes.
Which ones do you remember?
Obviously, the Bloody Marys,
right.
Stuff like that. But there was
I learned that one when I was 4.
Yeah, I mean, there was one. There was one that I heard that was like an urban legend in the town that we lived in. I can't remember the specifics of it, but it had to do with a lady by the lake, and I can't remember the specifics of it, but it was pretty haunting fucking tale. I can tell you that much.
Interesting.
But yeah, but then obviously the Bloody Marys and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, and I went one year to Catholic summer camp.
Oh, all Catholic churches are haunted as fuck.
Yeah, they had a couple good ones, but that was about. I can't remember the specifics of them all.
So I remember one specifically, and I don't know why I remember this so well, but probably because it terrified me at the time, the thought of it. But basically, the premise of it is that someone has a dog and like puts their hand down to feel better because they hear a noise in their house, and they put their hand down to feel better, and the dog licks their hand, right? And so every time they hear this noise, the dog keeps licking their hand. And this is like maybe 3 or 5 times or something like that over the course of the night. And finally, the kid or whoever decides to go check out whatever the noise is, and they go into the bathroom and find their dog hung upside down in the shower, like bleeding out and dead, right? And with a note that says, dogs aren't the only thing that can lick, or something to that effect. And that one, man, right? That one fucked me up.
I mean, there was a couple that I heard, but then, then they got shown in like movies like Urban Legend and what was that other one? What was that other movie?
Paranormal Activity?
No. The one with the teenagers. Where everyone kept dying because what the hell's the name of that damn movie?
That's what you do in horror movies?
No, where the guy had the dream and about everyone dying, and then he got everybody off the plane.
We talk about it all the time because of the logs on the back.
Yes, the logs on the back.
Yes. The Final Destination.
Final Destination. Thank you, God. Yeah.
I'm like, it's the word.
But like,
the word.
The one that I remember the most that I heard prior to Urban Legend, the movie, what's it called, Urban Legend? I think it was called Urban Legend. I don't remember. But where this guy was driving down the road, and for some reason there was a guy behind him, driving behind him, and every couple of minutes the guy would flash his brights at him.
Yeah.
And the guy, thought he was following him. So he was driving erratically and trying to lose the guy, turning down odd streets and just doing everything he can. But every 5 seconds, the guy would just flash his brights at him. So he eventually made it home and went to confront the guy that was following him, because he followed him all the way back to his house. And it turned out there was actually a guy in the back seat of his car. And every time that he went to go stab him is when the guy fucking flashed his lights at him. And it scared him, and
I remember that one.
That one freaked me out for a long time. Yeah, I mean, it's still to this day, every time I get into a car, I check the backseat.
That's a good practice anyways. As a female, that's just what I do, because I don't know, people told us probably some scary ass stories like that or whatever. I don't know. But But
those were some of the good ones. I mean,
and those aren't necessarily like ghost stories, but they're kind of urban legends. So
okay. All right, so speaking of ghost stories.
Right.
So something happened this weekend that I need to tell the world.
Oh.
So last week, we were discussing what we're going to do for Halloween.
Right.
And Izzy's like, you know what, let's just stay home and watch Halloween movies all day. Okay. And I said, that's fine. We can get some bags of candy and just have the candy for ourselves, and no big deal.
Right.
And she goes, that sounds great. And I go, what movies do you watch? She goes, I just told you. And I go, you did? You said you wanted to watch Halloween movies. She goes, yeah, I want to watch Halloween movies. And I go,
Halloween the movie.
Which one? And she goes, no, Halloween. And I go, wait a second. Do you want to watch Michael Myers? And she goes, yeah. And I go, you sure? And she goes, yeah. I'm like, okay. So that we were planning that for this coming Saturday. However, when we got home on Saturday from the hike, she's like, let's watch Halloween. And I said, we're supposed to watch it next week. And she goes, no, I want to watch it tonight. And I said, okay. So we watched Halloween 1978.
Yeah.
And this was her first movie that she's watched that was in the 70s. And the cinematography, the practical effects, all were very different.
Oh, super.
And the first kill that he does, I don't know if you've seen it, there was a girl in the car and he choked her out. And the way she died was very, very overzealous, to say the least.
Yeah.
It was very just campy. But anyway,
Right.
the movie's fantastic, and there is a horror vibe to it, but it just doesn't, the story's great, and the whole idea of it all is fucking scary shit. However, I don't scare easily, but apparently Izzy doesn't either.
Yeah.
Because the movie just didn't scare her at all. She goes, that was a good movie, but I just wasn't scared. And then she went to bed, woke up the next morning, came into our room and said, hey, let's watch Halloween 2. So we started watching Halloween 2. Now, Halloween 2 is a little bit scarier than 1981, which was 3 years after the original, but it takes place on the exact same day. It's just like it was basically 1 and 2 is basically all one movie for those of you who haven't seen Halloween. And part 2 is much more gruesome, much more, horrific, and again, didn't scare her. And for those of you who have ever seen Halloween 2, know that the end of the climax of the movie is the doctor basically blowing up Michael Myers and himself to kill him.
Right.
And Jamie Lee Curtis's character escapes the room just as it's about to explode. And she sits there and watches Michael walk out of the fire at her and then eventually just lays down and die. Well, during this scene, Izzy starts laughing as Michael's walking out of the fire. And all of a sudden, she stops dead in her tracks and goes, you have reached level 100, the mega boss. Fire, Jason! Fire Michael. Not fire Jason.
Fire Michael.
Fire Michael. And I was like, did you really just say that? She goes, yes. You have reached level 100, the mega boss.
That's amazing.
Fire Michael. And oh my God, that was good. That was so fucking funny.
Right?
But coming out of a 10-year-old's mouth who's watching one of the greatest horror movies of all time. And it is still, to this day, listed as one of the top 10 scariest movies of all time.
Right.
For her to just bust out and say that.
Bro, kids these days, man,
hilarious.
they don't give a fuck.
Well, that was until I've only seen Halloween 1 and 2. And apparently there's a whole if you're not into the horror genre, you won't understand it, and I still kind of don't. But the whole idea of the Halloween movies is very different. So, all right, so there's Halloween 1 and 2, which are, one's a sequel, 2's a sequel to 1.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's Halloween 3, which is not a sequel, it's kind of a prequel, and it doesn't even include Michael Myers. It's kind of a standalone flick. You could watch Halloween 3 by itself and never watch any of the other movies, and it would totally make sense. But then there's Halloween 4, 5, and 6, which are sequels to Halloween 1 and 2. However, also off of, but again, they're kind of their own standalone, sequels as well. But then you have a shoot off from Halloween 2 to Halloween H2O 20 years later. Okay?
Halloween H2O?
Yeah, from 1998.
Halloween Underwater? What the fuck is that?
No, just H2O. Hey, H20. Get it? Halloween 20 years later. H20, H2O.
Oh, okay. Halloween 20. Got it. Okay.
Yes, okay.
Got it.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Which is a continuation of part 2. Jason comes back to life and goes and attacks Jamie Lee Curtis's character 20 years later. Okay.
Is it underwater? I just.
No, there's no water. There's no water.
No water. Okay.
It's just the 20 years.
There should have been water. I just want to take a moment to say that, but go ahead.
You're ruining it. And then there's Hollywood. Then there's the next one. Halloween was Resurrection. So those 1, 2, H2, H2O, H220, whatever you want to call it, H20, whatever you want to call it, and then Halloween Resurrection all kind of follow the same path.
Okay.
But 4, 5, and 6 don't connect to H20 or Resurrection.
That's stupid.
Yeah, and then you also have the Rob Zombie's, reborn type of Halloween, what they called remakes.
Oh.
Yeah, so Rob Zombie has a whole series of remakes too, but So we skipped 3, 4, 5, and 6, and went 1 to H20, and then H2O or whatever, and then we're gonna watch Resurrection tomorrow.
Cool. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of like I can do murder like movies like that, but I'm not a huge fan of like Paranormal Activity. I've never seen Paranormal Activity. I will never see Paranormal Activity. I have no interest in seeing that shit.
What about Blair Witch?
Are you okay, honey? What happened? Blair Witch? No, I've seen Blair Witch. That thing was ridiculous.
But when it first came out, it scared the pants off of everybody.
Not me.
Oh man, I was freaked the fuck out. Okay? Hey, it's my little buddy.
Right, as it would. That's fine. All right, be sure that your phone is off whenever it starts, though. Say hi to Derek. Sorry, I had to kiss Boo Boos.
Hi, Ellie. And she left.
I slid off my bed and fell down so that you wouldn't see her.
But no, Blair Witch was actually, but what I loved about Blair Witch was the fact of the promotional and the way they made it. They for like a year, the actors in the movie were in hiding, kind of, what didn't really kind of, let shit. They sold it so well.
They did. So I will say, everybody did think that it was like a for real thing for like a year. And I didn't see it until after it came out that it was fake. I didn't want to see it if it was real. But after it came out that it was fake, I looked at it as more of a, or from more of an analytical standpoint. And I was like, yeah, I can see where like people would think that this was real. And I can also see where like it's clearly fucking fake. But once I was able to look at it from that standpoint, I was fine. But
yeah, even watching it today, like I haven't watched it, but I'm telling you, if I did, that shit would probably freak me the fuck out. I mean,
oh yeah,
because I mean it's so well done, and it's it's better, and it's done better than some of these these fake ass ghost stories that they show you on Travel Channel and shit. Oh, yeah. But I mean, it's just really, really good across the board. I mean, just fantastic. One of my favorite series, and it gets a lot of flack, and it goes back to the murder stuff, is the Scream series.
Mm-hmm.
There's been 4 so far. And 4 was actually really good. I saw that one for the first time a couple weeks back. 2 weeks ago, because it's on Hulu now. But that one's actually pretty interesting. It involves what's her name from Anna Pack, not Anna Paquin, the chick from Heroes. I can't think of her name.
I have no idea.
She's in it, and then the chick from Scream Queens from Fox is in it. Bunch of good stuff, and then obviously Courtney Cox and and then David Arquette is making a return in it, as well as obviously Neve Campbell. But what I think is kind of interesting is that they're making a Scream 5 right now.
Ooh, yeah. How? Nobody's making movies. How are they making that?
They are. They just started shooting Spider-Man 3 today.
Did they? Oh well, yeah. Today.
No matter. They're still they're making movies.
Today.
They're making them socially distanced, safe. Everyone wearing masks unless they're on camera. Yada, yada, yada. They're just doing it differently. They're making movies.
Can you imagine what that movie is going to be like?
Which one?
Every single person, Spider-Man, every single person is going to have to be at least 6 feet apart at all times, even while filming.
No, they can't do it like that. They're doing other things. They're testing them daily. They're doing other things. But anyway, yeah, Scream is definitely on the top of that list of one of my favorite franchises of fear.
I like the only one that I ever really got into was Final Destination, honestly.
Final Destination was fantastic because it kind of, I mean, yeah, some of the deaths were a little, crazy. Mm-hmm. Like the shower one was a little, I don't see how that could happen. But like the logs was a little bit crazy. Yeah, and even like the stop sign. Like, okay, right. I don't, that one seems a little. I mean, I think I liked it
partially because it also made me laugh. Like at the end of one of the movies, somebody gets hit by like a bus or something like that, and it just made me laugh.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of campiness to it, but the actual movie itself was fantastic.
Yeah. I'm not a huge horror fan anyway, so.
See, I love horror.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't sat down and actually watched horror in a long time, but this weekend really kind of brought it back out in me. Now, this coming weekend, I think for Halloween, we're going to watch maybe Jason, Friday the 13th, that series, or, you know, Christina was talking about maybe watching some of the comedy ones or just the ones that are super weird, you know, horror flicks. So maybe who knows what we're going to do, but it's brought out a whole new side of me. And I remember what it was like to watch these movies, and it's like, yes. I missed it so much.
Yeah. My son surprises me because he actually enjoys watching scary movies just to be scared, which surprised me because I am in no way, shape, or form like that whatsoever. But also he surprised me because he likes to watch them because he laughs at them, because he's a very logical, analytical thinker. And so he's like, this is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen in my life. And literally just looks at movies like that. Like he just doesn't give a fuck. And I'm sitting there like curled up next to him, like, hold me. And he's like, why?
See, I love, like I said, I just love the idea of them.
Yeah.
I have a problem though where I don't scare easily though. And that's always been a problem for me, even like in haunted houses.
Why is that a problem?
Because I'm always overanalyzing everything.
Again, don't see a problem here.
Well, because it takes the fun out of it for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like, okay, and this is just me. Not everybody is like this. So don't sit there and say, oh, you know, no, not everyone's like this. It's just the way my brain works. You know, I was a martial artist for 25 years. Okay.
Sure.
And so the way I always was about it was every time I walk into a room, I scan the area. I'm always anticipating something. Not every martial artist is like that, obviously. You know, no, very few people act like that. It's just me. I just anticipate everything at all the time. You know, it's like, okay, if I'm walking through a haunted house, I anticipate the jump scare. And most people anticipate the jump scare, but it still scares them. Me, it's just like, okay, cool. Let's fight. So I don't scare easily. Like the last time Christina and I did horror like that was the year before we moved. So it was 2015. We went to Halloween Horror Nights. So it'll be 5 years ago this month. We did Halloween Horror Nights in that October. And, you know, we did literally every house that year. There was a Walking Dead house. There was that was the year they brought Jack back, which is their version of it, kind of a scary clown.
I love me some Walking Dead, though.
Yeah, I mean, we did there was a bunch of houses that year, and not one of them scared me. Not one of them fucking scared me. Christina was scared all over the fucking place, with the exception of the American Werewolf in London house, because that was stupid. But you know, every other house scared the shit out of her, and she was just constantly jumping into my arms. So I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I'll be the man and not get scared, and I wasn't scared anyway. Mm-hmm. But it was a lot of fun. I love that kind of stuff. Like I was saying last week, we have a haunted house here in town. You know, one of the most haunted houses in America, and I haven't done it yet, but I still want to. It's like, I need to bring your ass down. I need to do that.
No, thank you.
I want to watch you get scared.
No, thank you.
Why?
I don't want to.
Is that a baby scared?
Yes. I'm a little baby scared. I'm a scared little baby squirrel. Leave me alone.
Whatever.
I don't like to be scared. We just went through this.
I know, but you still should experience life for what it is.
You know where I get my adrenaline? I want to go bungee jumping. I want to jump out of airplanes. I want to fly a helicopter. That's where I get my adrenaline from. I don't need adrenaline from I'm afraid I'm going to die. I'm good.
It's a haunted house.
I'm good. All right. So don't you have ghost stories for us?
I was just getting ready to do that. I just grabbed my phone.
Okay.
All right. So I did some
like half an hour in already.
But we've talked about everything I wanted to talk about. Movies that are fun to watch. Recommendations.
Oh, I didn't know that was on your list of things you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good.
If you would read the YouTube
a lot accomplished already.
YouTube description that I put on there every week.
I don't read anything you ever send me. Unless you specifically ask me to read it.
That's true, because you like to be genuinely shocked and surprised and have a real conversation with me, because you're the same way I am. You don't want to know
you
what's
like
going
to plan to shock and surprise me. So
I
let
do.
You have your fun.
But this is the only show that I do that for. This is the mental health show. I don't plan for my other show. I don't plan for Suck It at all.
I know.
Because again, I love IQ. I want it to be genuine. I want to find things out. I don't want to read them on the internet.
Right.
But anyway, so I did a deep dive of Reddit and the internet to find some of the top 10 best adult only ghost stories. So I found this on a website. However, I found most of them on Reddit, and luckily most of them were kind of put together on one page, so it made it a little bit easier. So these are all stories told by Reddit users, and I'm going to read them in my horror voice.
Can I read one too?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
I know. Can I read one too?
Yeah, so read. You can read the second one, the haunted hotels.
All right, I gotta pull up the list. Hold on.
Okay.
You go ahead and read yours first.
All right. So this was told by Reddit user Quiet Voice 4846. Late at night, I usually go to the bathroom multiple times, but for the past 4 days, every time I go to leave, I can see myself standing in the mirror from the corner of my eye.
Speak louder, I can't hear you.
It is like the other me is watching me leave the bathroom. It terrifies me to the point where I almost run out without looking directly at the mirror. I never told my husband about this because I didn't want to acknowledge it out loud. Earlier today, I took a nap in our bed while he sat in the chair watching TV. When I woke up, he told me that he had seen me sit up and crawl back to the edge of the bed and stand up in front of our bedroom door from the corner of his eye. He thought it was weird that I got up like that because in the last month of my pregnancy, and I can't really move so well without hurting. So he tried talking to me. When I didn't answer, he looked at the door to go find me not there and still sleeping in bed. I got really creeped out and finally told him about what I've been seeing in the bathroom. He thought it was creepy as well, but didn't want to really talk about it anymore because he thinks whatever it is, will give whatever its power or energy. I have no idea what or why, but we both saw it.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy. Okay. So I'm going to read Haunted Hotels. When I was 15, I traveled to Europe with my family. We stayed in I don't know how to pronounce that, Germany, in a small inn for a few nights. My parents had a double bed on the second floor. My sisters had the double bedroom next to theirs, and I was lucky enough to have a single room all to myself at the far end of the hall. When we went to check into our rooms, as soon as I entered the hallway, our rooms were in. I remember almost feeling as though I walked into a wall of bad energy. I just felt so unnerved and uneasy in that hallway, but I passed it off as an overactive imagination. I slept the first night without any issues other than waking up a few times. The next morning at breakfast, one of my sisters mentioned feeling really uncomfortable in the hallway, almost as if the air was crushing. It unnerved me even more that I wasn't the only one who felt weirded out. Plus, she was an adult at the time, so it further cemented in my head that wing of the hotel was odd. Later that night, I'm sleeping peacefully when at about 2 a.m., I'm woken by something ripping the covers off of me and being jerked about 2 feet towards the end of the bed by my ankle. At first, I thought someone had broken into my room because when I turned towards what had grabbed me, a huge looming black shape was visible in the darkness, like a man was in my room. I frantically flipped the light on, only to have there been nothing there. The window was locked from the inside. There was no one in the closet or in the bathroom, and my room was also still locked from the inside. I stayed up the rest of the night scared, playing Cooking Mama on my DS. The next morning, we're at breakfast, and my sister mentions that she was up half the night because she thought she saw a person silhouetted against the wall of her room, but when she turned on the light, there was no one there. It was just a bizarre and creepy experience. We checked out that day, so I didn't get to experience anything after that, but it still freaks me out to this day. Yeah, see, that's what freaks me out about ghosts is like if they touch me or because yeah, no, I don't like things that I can't see touching me. That's what it is. Nope. Mm-mm.
So if you were blind, you would just have a horrible day.
You're not wrong.
If I ever go blind, we're never having sex again.
No, actually, I think if I was blind, I would enjoy sex a lot more, even. But because I'm already like a extremely tactile person, so
that does not say much for Jesse.
No, yes, it does.
Oh, that's
I would enjoy it even more than I already do.
Because you don't have to look at his face. Well, that's funny. Come on,
That
see?
is not what
I know, but see, that's okay. Comedian. This is what I do.
All right, you get to read The Rocking Horse. I'm going to read. Shh.
Jesse, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
No.
Anyway, the next one, The Rocking Horse. One night while I was maybe 10 or 12, I had trouble falling asleep. My bedroom was at the time was the entire top of the floor of our house, with my bed and such being on the left side of the room, and storage closets and a play area on the right. I was laying in bed when I heard a noise from the other side of the room, and I saw a rocking horse begin to rock. It was sitting just outside one of the storage closet's doors. It proceeded to rock its way halfway across the room and stopped dead underneath the ceiling light. At this point, I was freaking out and just buried my head under the blankets and never peeked out again until morning. When I woke up, the rocking horse was still in the middle of my room. Furthermore, I got a stern reprimand from my parents for being up out of my bed playing with my toys well past bedtime. Their bedroom was directly below the storage closet play area, and it heard creaking, shuffling across the room.
Creepy. All right. Shh is the name of this one. When I was a teenager, I used to babysit my cousin Alyssa. She was little, maybe almost 2, maybe a little older, old enough to say sentences. I'm giving her a bath before bed when she looks out into the hallway and gets a terrified look on her face and starts crying. That was very loud.
I'm on mute.
What?
I'm on mute.
Oh, well, something was very loud. I don't know what that was then. Sorry. At this moment, my aunt's Pomeranian starts going nuts as well, barking and growling into the hallway. The atmosphere in the room became uncomfortable, and I started getting scared. I took her downstairs from the 3rd floor in the townhouse to try and calm her down. I asked her what was wrong, and she said something along the lines of, the man with the black eyes was there. When I continued to pry, she looked up at the 2nd floor stairs, her eyes getting big, and looks at me, bringing her finger up to her mouth and said, shh, while shaking her head, no. See, also little children freak me the fuck out like that.
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah.
My mute button is not working.
Oh.
Interesting.
See, I told you that was loud as fuck. Ha!
Well, that sucks.
That's the mute button on this.
Yeah, I'll have to use my mute button on the actual computer. Well, that sucks.
Yep.
But whatever. There's just so many good stories out there, like for real.
Are you gonna read the next one?
Yeah, I'm going to.
I want to read them all.
Oh, we're going
There's
to.
only 10 here, right? That's a long one. Yeah. Let's read them all. So you're going to read The Trickster, and I'm going to read Unwanted Tenants. Are you there? Oh, no. You're frozen. Oh, wait. No, you disappeared, and you were frozen. What are you doing?
I said my camera went out. Did you not notice that?
No. Well, you froze. I mean, I noticed that you froze, but...
Yeah, it was my camera that went out.
Oh, why? I cannot.
All right, good. Okay, so it was my mic. I fixed it. Okay.
Are you having electrical issues? What's
No,
going
no. Well, maybe.
on? Right. Why did your camera go out?
I don't know. It just went out all of a sudden.
See, it's because we're telling ghost stories.
Yeah, and then now I guess my. All right, good. So my microphone's not working. Okay, good.
Yep. And now it's working again. All right, then.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
All right. Was I sounding okay before?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Read your next one.
The Trickster. I lived in this house with a basement, and every time I walked up the stairs, I would get this weird, creepy goosebumps feeling on the back of my neck. It didn't make me feel uneasy. It would go down the stairs or to be in the basement. What? It didn't make me uneasy to go down the stairs or to okay. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't make me uneasy to go down the stairs.
Yeah.
The way I was reading it, it didn't flow.
Of your
It
voice.
didn't flow. Yeah. All right. The craft room was down there, and I spent a lot of time there. After a while, I would have items I was using disappear when I would look away from them. I would search and search, and one day I got frustrated, and to no one in particular, I said, "Arg, can I please have my scissors back?" I had just looked under the pile of the new mail, and when I turned my head, there were my scissors on top of the pile of mail. I talked to my neighbor, and she told me that the original owner of the house was a jolly old man who loved to prank people, and that he had fallen coming up the stairs one day and died. I think the goosebumps were him trying to tell me be careful. And every time after that, when something would disappear, I would politely ask for it back, and it would appear in a place that I could not have missed it before. Thanks, old man. It was fun.
Aw.
What
That's
the fuck?
a good one. I like that one.
What the fuck?
People are tricksters, even in death sometimes. Okay. Unwanted
Bastards.
tenants. I know. My daughter was 4 years old when we lived in our last home. I was a single mom at the time, so it was just she and I alone in the home. I always got an uncomfortable feeling in her room, particularly the closet area, but never thought much of it. Until one evening, I had put her to bed, and as I was doing chores, I walked by her room and heard her whispering. I listened for a bit, thinking she was talking to herself, but it was definitely a two-way conversation with her saying, "Uh-huh, okay," stuff like that. I walked in and asked her who she was talking to. She smiled uncomfortably and said, "No one." I took her out into the hall and she wouldn't say anything, but I could tell she was afraid. Finally, we went outside of the house. She said there was a man in her room who didn't want us in the house, and he had told her this and to tell her mom to leave. I moved us out a month later. She has not since ever had an episode like this. Yeah, I listen to kids when it comes to ghosts. I'm fine with that. Y'all can call me crazy.
They know all. They see shit that we
Yeah.
refuse to believe. I mean,
100%.
If
If my kid came to me and said that there was some man in our house who didn't want us there, I would definitely be moving out. Yep.
I don't know if Izzy is being serious or joking, but she believes that her bedroom is haunted by her great grandmother who she never met.
Really?
Yeah, but in a good way. Like she's
Yeah.
watching over her. She's there just to protect her and stuff like that. And because she has a special lamp that my wife's grandmother gave her when she was young, and Izzy now has that lamp in her room, so it was passed down to her, to Izzy, from Christina. So she believes that
mom is always there with her, but like, but she's like, a couple times, like, she'll wake up in the middle of the night and something will knock over, or she'll like come on the next moment. She goes, okay, I know my phone was here, or I know this was here, or blah 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 blah. But I found it on the floor this morning. Can you please tell mom to quit knocking shit over? I mean, she doesn't say shit, but you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah.
And uh, one time, and this kind of freaked me out a little bit. Um, when she was in her other room before Joey moved out, in that room, there's no actual physical lights in the room, so you have to have a lamp.
Mm-hmm.
So we had one of these. It's a stand lamp, but it's got like an extra, like reading light that comes off the side of it too.
Mm-hmm.
And she always used to have us keep that on because she was afraid of the dark. But we would point it down and kind of to the side. Therefore, it was kind of more like a night light. So we did that one day, and we were singing her good night, reading her a bedtime story, the normal stuff that we used to do. We don't do it anymore. Because she's 10, but um, and I made a joke and I said, okay, well, mom will watch over you, tell her good night. And she said, okay, good night, mom. And then that light flickered like
Aww.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, we gotta go now.
Yeah. When my son was when my son was little, he used to like look up in the corner and just start laughing and stuff like that. So when it's stuff like that, like I'm fine with it. But like if my kid, legit, if my 4-year-old comes to me and is like, "There's somebody here and they don't want us here," okay, you got it. We're out.
Yeah.
So
It's still but the mum thing
that's nice.
that freaked me
Yeah,
out.
I like stories like that.
I mean, if you're there, great.
I asked you one time if you'd had any
Did you?
experiences, and you said
I don't know
no.
if it was an experience or not. It could have just been, electrical field, but
Yeah, but timing is everything.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so next one. Coincidentally enough, family reunion. One day when my daughter was two. I can't say that word. Why can't I say two? One day when my daughter was 2, we were having a typical terrible twos moment. She was throwing a bit of a tantrum for about 5 to 10 minutes, and we couldn't get her under control. At some point, she rather suddenly stopped and started staring at the wall. She then started lightly giggling. It was weird. One second she's crying and screaming, and the next she's smiling and happy. Then she starts saying, "Funny lady," over and over again. We asked her who she saw, and she pointed to the wall again and said, "The funny lady." When we asked her to describe who she saw, she described my deceased grandmother. I mean, exactly described her. She had never met her, and I don't think she had ever seen a picture. Not that a 2-year-old could remember a picture, but I'm not much of a believer in paranormal. But I know for sure that my daughter got a chance to meet my mom, and she made me happy. When I told the story to my parents, they didn't seem as shocked as I was. When I tried to get a response from them, they looked at me and I said, "Guess you don't remember that you met your deceased grandfather when you were 3. The exact same thing happened to you 30 years ago."
Damn.
Okay.
Now you've left me the long one. Okay.
Good.
The Guardian. I had been on the phone with my then boyfriend, and he said something that made me think he was a chauvinistic, not nice person. And I remember telling him that if he knew anything about me, he knew exactly where I was going to go. And I hung up the phone and got in my car. I drove to the park. The sun was kind of down below the tree line, but it wasn't dark yet, and I pulled into the parking lot. I thought it was weird that there were 2 cars pulled side by side and talking to each other. When I got out, the guy in the truck just stared at me in a horrible way. You know, when someone just looks at you like they're looking through you as if you don't exist. I thought, well, this is weird. It's late and no one's over here. And then I thought, whatever, they're leaving. I don't care. I have my own problems. I only took my keys with me because I didn't want a big purse hanging around. I headed across the field, which you have to cross through to get to the woods because there's no trail. I was taking my time and calming down, and then I realized it got really quiet. I didn't hear the birds and the squirrels anymore. I just heard something big moving through the woods. I thought to myself, maybe it's a dog. And then I heard the voices. The first voice is a male's voice, and he said, I know I saw her go in this way. She couldn't have gotten that far. Then the second voice comes, and it's quieter, and it says, shh, she'll hear you. Okay. So there are two men in the woods, and they're looking for something, obviously. And I kept thinking it must be their dog. They must have lost their dog. And then I thought they wouldn't try to sneak up on it. I stood there frozen because that's the kind of person I am. I could I could hear them getting closer to me, and I don't know how long I stood there waiting for them to get to me, but I was completely frozen. And then I heard the other voice. It was distorted, like if you heard someone talking through a closed door or talking underwater. You could understand what they were saying, but the voice wasn't right. It wasn't in my head because it had a volume and a pitch that changed that my thoughts definitely didn't do or don't do. I could almost feel where it was coming from. It was behind me and a little above, like it was taller than me. It just said, go to the river now. I don't know if I was more scared of the fact that there's some disembodied voice or a person talking to me, or there are two men in the woods. I listened to the voice because I didn't really have another option. I took off toward the river. I made a ton of noise because I was just going as fast as I could, and the voice came back and said, no, quietly. I got to the river and jumped down the embankment. I squished myself against it, squeezing down the smallest, tightest ball I could. The voice kept telling me to stay, and I just sat there, hoping whoever was in the moods was going to leave. I think they meant was in the woods, was going to leave, and that I wasn't having some kind of breakdown. And I kept hearing them moving through the woods, and I could tell they had split off. As I sat there, the voice just kept telling me to stay quiet over and over again, like it was trying to comfort me. I could hear what sounded like someone was right above me, and if I leaned out, they could see me. But I had to look. I just tilted my head up a tiny bit, and I could see the tips of these construction boots hanging over the edge, and I could see hanging next to them this dirty old rope, just swinging next to them, swinging. I don't think I even thought anything. I was just so scared. I just tried not to breathe. It felt like hours, but I know it couldn't have been that long. The voice was completely silent. There was nothing but me hearing this man breathing. He started to walk away at some point, and the voice kept telling me to wait. So I waited. And finally, the voice said, go now to the field. Go now. It was screaming at me so loud. So I ran through the woods and just got out the field, far, far from the cars and street. It was getting dark and I could see the parking lot, but it was so far away. I'm running and I start hearing footsteps running. And first, they're farther away, but they're so much faster than I am, barreling after me. And there was nothing. I fully expected to see at least one of the men there, but it was silent. The only thing I could think was that the footsteps must have belonged to the voice. And I hear it again screaming at the top of its lungs that I need to run away now. And the footsteps come back and they're in pace with me, running next to me through the field. I had 1,000 crazy thoughts because none of this made any sense. Finally, I get to my car and I see both the cars were parked in different places with nobody in them. I refused to look behind me. If there hadn't been a voice, I would probably be a missing persons case. It got me out of there. And yeah, that's it.
Are you okay?
Email? That's terrifying.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Bro.
So let me ask you this. What are you guys doing for Halloween this weekend? Are you guys going to be trick-or-treating? Or are you guys not? What are you doing?
We're going to try to go trick-or-treating with our masks on and stuff because I made my son's costume.
What'd you make him?
He's going to be a dumpster fire with 2020 written on the front of it. And I'm really excited about it.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I love it.
Me too. Thanks. And my daughter's going to be an angel, which the irony is not lost on me whatsoever. So there's that.
That's funny.
So just because they have costumes, we're going to try to go. But we probably will not stay out as late this year as we normally have,
Yeah.
unless my son goes like with his friends to do something. I don't know what they're gonna do because this is going to be his last Halloween with his friends. So
Yeah,
I want them to do something.
I can hear that.
Mm.
Yeah, like I told you before, we're just gonna stay at home, watch scary movies all day, eat candy, popcorn. We're not doing anything this year. And we told Izzy next year she can do whatever the fuck she wants. So she's like, I want the Tyrannosaurus costume.
That's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, the inflatable one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what she wants.
That's gonna be amazing.
And actually, that would have been a pretty good one this year because she would have been behind the not have to worry about germs.
Right.
But we didn't think about it soon enough. But
Nice.
yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna sit at home, like I said, watch scary movies all day and just enjoy it.
Right.
So I know you're not doing any podcasts. You're just doing some blogging and everything else like that. But I am still gonna be rolling tonight. Man, this week is gonna be packed, action packed. So I'm actually doing 2 episodes today, one at 4 and then one at 8. But the one at 4 will be broadcast tomorrow. So tonight I have a new band out of Chicago, I believe, that's just released their first debut album. They're on a major album and courtesy of Earshot Media Publications. The band Karma Kids will be on tonight. And then tomorrow, or recorded today, but tomorrow, the band Safe Hands will be on. Then Wednesday, in keeping up our Halloween week theme, a actual glorified scream queen from the acting world, Sadie Katz, will be on the show. Then Thursday, runner-up to last year's The Voice Australia, Daniel Shaw, will be on the show. And then Friday, a new artist again, in Ty Traherne, will be on. So I am action-packed this week. And then next week, I got probably one of my biggest guests ever in lead singer for the metal band September Morning, a huge act. The lead singer, Emily Lazar, will be on the show.
Nice.
So that's a huge one. That's a huge get for me. I'm very, very excited about that. Lots of good stuff happening.
Right.
And as soon as we hang up here, I have a rant video that I'm going to be doing and posting on YouTube because I'm pretty fucking pissed right now.
Are you still?
I'm fuming.
Is that from the weekend?
Fuming. Huh?
Is that from the weekend?
From yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we should revisit next week on the mental health hour because we will be going back to the mental health hour next week. We were supposed to do mental health hour this week, but I'm like, you know what? Let's keep with let's do more horror stuff since it's Halloween week. So then we'll go back to rotating every other week, Supernormal.
Right.
The following week, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So next week will be mental health, and then the following week will be Supernormal. But next week I want to revisit the whole LGBTQ stuff in regards to this, and kind of do a second video with you about this because I'm pretty fucking pissed.
Okay, no worries. We'll do.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be.
We should do mental health hour next week of people for from the community, LGBTQ community.
I'll see if I can get Joey back on the show.
Okay. All right. We could ask our friend too.
Yeah, Julie.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, for those of you who listened to the show back in June, Julie is the special assistant to the director of the National LGBTQ Alliance out of DC. So let's see if we can bring her back. Yeah, she's a special assistant to the director, so she is. And we'll try to get my daughter back, my 18-year-old daughter, as well, because when I posted this yesterday, she was fuming. So,
yeah.
And yeah, so if you guys want to know more about that, I'll be posting a video here in a few, about an hour or so, about this because, yeah, I'm a little furious right now.
I bet. Okay.
But again, join me tonight, 8 p.m. East, 5 p.m. West for Karma Kids. Like I said, a band out of Chicago just released their first album. We'll go ahead and review some of their songs, do them live with them, and kind of have some fun. And then, again, Wednesday, Sadie Katz, a huge movie actress with lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of horror, including a new one in the Amityville horror series that just got released last week called the Amityville. What the hell was the name of that movie? Amityville something. There's lots of them. What is it called? Amityville Harvest. The Amityville Harvest, which was just released last week. It stars her. And she's also done she was in Wrong Turn and a bunch of other ones too. So Scream Queen. You're muted.
I know, I'm yelling at my daughter.
Oh. Scream Queen. Sadie Katz, Wednesday. Tonight, Karma Kids. Tomorrow, Safe Hands. Daniel Shaw, Voice Australia on Thursday. And by the way, he's got some interesting stories. There's some if you Google his name, there was a bunch of stuff that went down between like him and Boy George last year on The Voice. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff about him. So tune in for that. We're going to talk about that and a bunch of other stuff. But until tonight or next week, whenever you decide to tune in, we appreciate you. We love you. Stay happy, stay heavy. And we'll see you guys later. Peace.